I'm Jack Dunham, and this is State Street, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I feel as safe here as I feel in my living room, and that's the problem. I'm probably safer here than I am in my living room.
And that's because criminals can enter the most sacred elements of our lives, steal our money, our credit, and the good name of people close to us. And they can do it from anywhere on the planet, and often we're more than willing to help them. We are the targets, small towns where people take their safety for granted. For 6 months, the city of Bristol, Tennessee will be producing informational videos that will run on this channel that will fight these people that work every day to steal from us. We will stage this fight with information and the knowledge of what they're doing and how these scams work. There's lots of scams, and there's no way we'll cover all of them. But there are common tactics that are used in almost every scam, whether it be from the internet, your phone, or both. So no matter what specific subject we will be covering, in each of these episodes, we will be repeating these basic rules in every show. There's 4 simple rules, and here they are. Rule number 1, do not send money to people that you don't know. Rule number 2, no reputable business or governmental agency will ask you to use Western Union, MoneyGram, or gift cards of any type to make a payment. Rule number 3, never ever allow anyone that you do not personally know to gain access to your computer. Rule number 4, never share your personal information or any sort of financial records or share credit card numbers with anyone who contacted you. That also means that you should never confirm any of this information for anyone.
On this episode of CyberCon Bristol, we look at phone scams, by far the most common type of scam. Almost everyone I know get these calls. The caller ID says that the caller is from a neighboring town. Most of mine say Kingsport. You answer the call, and there's a recorded message instructing you to call a number for various reasons.
We will go over several of the scams in a minute, but first let's talk about how these people even get your number. On June 27, 2003, the Federal Trade Commission established the National Do Not Call Registry. It was a simple idea. If a person did not want to be bothered by telemarketers, they could go to the Do Not Call Registry online and register their phone number. That number was added to a very large list of people. That list of people was made available to anyone asking for it. So if a person had a call center, they would know not to call the people on the list. The FTC took aggressive legal action to make sure telemarketers abide by the Do Not Call Registry. They have collected millions in penalties against companies that broke the law and called the people on the National Do Not Call Registry. The FTC was and are still very serious about enforcing the laws to protect the citizens that asked not to be bothered with these calls. But shortly after 2003, things began to change. The same technology that eliminated the long-distance telephone surcharge also revolutionized telemarketing. Companies could set up shop outside the United States and outside the reach of regulatory authorities, where for pennies they could blast consumers with pre-recorded, auto-dialed calls, and there isn't anything that our government can do to stop them. Huge lists of phone numbers are very expensive. But these companies had the largest call list on earth, and almost every number on that list would take them to real phones and real people. It was the same Do Not Call registry that had been used to protect U.S. citizens. And this very detailed, accurate list was free. In 2004, the first call spoofing service was introduced. Call spoofing is when the caller ID on your phone is tricked into giving a fake number. As simple as that may seem, this one practice has turned the prevention of scam calls on its head. It is commonly used by offshore call centers to trick the target into believing that the call is originating locally or from an area code that reinforces the credibility of the scam. In other words, if someone is pretending to call from the IRS, the number will appear on your phone to be from Washington, D.C. Or if they're claiming to be from Microsoft, the number will appear to be from Redmond, Washington, the headquarters for Microsoft. Now a person can buy an app for their smartphone that does the same thing. The results from this are devastating. A scammer no longer needs to be calling from India or Ghana to be immune from prosecution from the FTC. They can be calling from anywhere in the United States and make the caller ID say that the call is right down the street. And now there's nothing to report since the number you report to the no-call registry is not the number that called you. You can purchase apps that detect robocalls and block them. If you go this route, read the reviews of the app. Some of them work better than others. If you don't want to purchase a robo-blocker app, you have two options. You can ignore the call and allow the caller to go to voicemail. Or you can pick up the phone and once you hear that it's a robocall, simply hang up. There's pitfalls for doing either one. If you ignore the call, you might miss an important call from someone not listed on your contact list, and you're allowing scammers to dictate how you answer your phone. If you answer the call and the scammers have an advanced dialing computer, you might end up on a more specific list of people who answer their phone, possibly resulting in even more calls. Once you see that it's a robocall, you can block that call. If you don't know how to do that, it's a simple process that with just a little digging on the internet or by calling your local phone store, you can learn how to do it. But remember, that is only going to block that number. So if the scammers change the spoofing number, they will get through again. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll go over several common phone scams.